So this might be a controversial take, but I think it's technically, theoretically possible that Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition could be better. To that end, I have in my hand Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, a popular book that started no fights at all. This book introduced an interesting mechanic, and one that I really haven't seen enough said about. Sidekicks. Sidekicks are a way for your players to be able to just keep and adopt those NPCs who tend to tag along with the party. You can take any creature in the monster manual, it has to have a challenge rating of 1/2 or less, but that's going to give you some options as far as like bandits that you find. I think goblins should fall underneath that, kobolds, things like that. And once you take your sidekick on, you can choose their class, essentially. There's only 3 for sidekicks. You have experts, which is kind of roguelite. You have warrior, which is basically fighter-light. And you have spellcaster, which can go a lot of different directions. You can flavor it wizard, sorcerer, druid, whatever. Here's the thing. These are supposed to be the characters that just sort of come along with the party, right, and help them out. And I think they could be a really interesting way to fill in where older editions had hirelings, right? This is designed to create a character who is role-played by the GM, mechanically played in combat by the players, at least that's the recommended way of running them that I think makes the most sense in this book, and they're just powerful enough to contribute, but not so powerful that they steal spotlight. So they are perfect to use to replace the hireling system of older editions. On top of all of that, they level with the party, which is perfect. The problem is, I really don't think we're getting the most we could out of these characters. You see, warrior, expert, spellcaster, that's all fine. But there is a class that fills a utility role that isn't super fun for the players, but would be really, really fun to have someone do for you as a hireling. And that is Ranger. Alright, so in today's video, I'm going to be putting together a homebrew sidekick that I'm going to be calling the Guide. The purpose of the Guide is to have things like Natural Explorer and Favored Terrain and some of those features that the Ranger has. Maybe also throw in the Linguistics feat or a modified version of it. And so that way you can basically have your party come to a new area that they don't know and hire someone who knows the area, who can speak the language, who can find the best places to bed down, who can get them through this terrain, if they're willing to spend the money to hire them. I think this is a great way to use both sidekicks and some of the Ranger class abilities that don't really get the love they could, just because it's not fun things to do as a player, but they are definitely things that can help the party in the right campaign. So, we're going to cut to, I'm going to have a video of me drawing out my idea for the initial concept art of the Guide. And while we're doing that, I'm just going to talk you through what the Guide will be capable of as a sidekick. I've got to figure out the best way for me to get this written out and available to you guys. I'm still trying to figure out what went wrong with my website. So, got to figure that out. That probably won't be the best way that I get this stuff to you, but I will see what can be done to get a document out for anyone who would like it, if you'd like to introduce the Guide into your own table. That said, I have some stats to read and I have a picture to draw. Let's get into it. So, in order to create the Guide sidekick, I really want to be focusing on making it Ranger light and taking the best things the Ranger can bring to a party that would be helpful to offload onto a sidekick instead of taking up valuable party slots by getting these things. So, for starters, bonus proficiencies. Every sidekick gets to choose between 3. For the Guide, it's going to be Dex, Int, or Wisdom. They get to choose 3 skills from either animal handling, athletics, insight, investigation, nature, perception, stealth, or survival, and they'll have proficiency with medium armor. I don't think enough things that are out there really cap out at medium armor to make it viable for a lot of builds, and so I think having more things that are thematically medium armor works well. If it's a humanoid that has a weapon in its stat block, it gets simple weapons and martial weapons, and this is where it will get the natural explorer ranger ability as well. So they choose a terrain type. Difficult terrain won't slow the party. The group can't be lost in that terrain. When they're engaged in another activity while traveling, the sidekick cannot be surprised. When traveling alone, the sidekick can move stealthy at full speed. Foraging is twice as efficient, and it can track a lot better in these areas as well. For level 2, I'm going to call it Locale. This isn't exactly the linguist, feat. It does have some similarities to it. +3 languages, and what I'm going to do is Wisdom mod. So the Wisdom mod will be a number, that number of times per long rest, and while in their favored terrain, this sidekick can roll a history or nature check at advantage, or an insight or persuasion check at advantage if dealing with local populations. So this is really going to emphasize how they are the ones who know the area. At level 3, they'll pick up Spellcasting with ranger spells. I've got a modified spell table that I'm working on here. Level 4, they get that ability score improvement. At level 5, they get a companion beast. Create a beast sidekick that is 2 levels below this sidekick. So, being a beast, it's going to have to be a warrior. When the guide caps out at level 20, that beast sidekick will cap out at level 18. But with all of that, I do think it's going to give an interesting flavor to this guide. At level 6, they get an extra attack. Level 8, that's another ability score improvement. At level 9, Savagery. This sidekick's companion beast's attacks are considered magical for the purposes of overcoming non-magical resistances. At level 10, they can choose a second terrain type for Natural Explorer. At level 11, and this is the one I'm most wondering if I need to reword or do better, but I'm calling this ability Wary Guide. While in favored terrain, this sidekick rolls perception checks against ambushes and traps after the player characters, and it rolls at advantage if no one else has passed the check yet. So that's basically a chance for the guide out in front, being kind of the Aragorn archetype, to just hold out a hand, hold. There's something here. Right? Really get that good flavor that we want in this slimmed down version of the Ranger. At level 12, they get another ability score improvement. At level 15, Companion's Bond. This sidekick spells that target self may instead target the companion beast. At level 16, that's another ASI, or ability score improvement. At level 18, they'll get the Ranger ability Vanish. They can hide as a bonus action, and cannot be tracked by non-magical means unless they're intentionally leaving a trail. Level 19 is another ASI, and at level 20, they'll get what I'm calling Beast Sight. The sidekick can see through their beast companion's eyes, communicate with their beast companion as though the beast companion had a language, and may cast spells originating from their companion beast instead of from themselves. Basically, turn the guide into almost a light form of Beastmaster, as well as giving the companion beast almost like the Find Familiar spell abilities, at least a light minimized version of that. They'll have a spell list that is less robust than the spellcasters, but they will be able to bring some ranger spells to the table, especially so they can do things like Pass Without Trace and a lot of those other nice ranger flavored spells. So with all of this pulled together, I think we have the kind of character that will not only be interesting as an NPC, but also will bring a lot to the table as far as what utility they bring to a party, and the ability to do things that the party wasn't willing or just wasn't going to have fun with doing on their own. And I think that is really where these sidekicks are going to shine, is in filling party roles that kind of no one wants to do. So, sidekicks are a lot cooler than people, I guess, aren't giving them credit for. No one is talking about these things, it seems like. But sidekicks seem like really cool things. I'm going to be playing with them more at my tables, and I'm hoping to test out the guide homebrew in the near future. So wish me luck on that, and thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Thank you for watching. Please share the video with a friend or several friends, and let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd like to see me draw in a future video. Later, y'all!